Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Empower a life today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Change is only a conversation away when you choose to share your wisdom, time, and heart with a young mind. Together, we can craft a brighter future, one child at a time. Ignite a spark of hope and be someone's guiding light. Find out more about becoming a mentor by visiting teammates.org. Become a beacon of change by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Is your furnace operating like you think it should? Find out with a service check now from the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough system check to make sure you're good to go this winter. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchanger checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
We're speaking to Husker baseball assistant Lance Harvell.
Seemed like there was a pretty heavy focus on the JUCO ranks this offseason. What went into the decision behind that approach?
There's something about junior college baseball. You know, if you've been through it, you know that life, what it's about. You number one, you gotta have passion to play baseball. You gotta grind. Those guys are tough. They're playing doubleheaders, every time out. So you know kind of what you're getting.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to Happy Hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It's been far too long.
It's been about a week.
I have missed you and everybody.
Thank you.
I am being honest. I'm not lying.
It's been about a week, and you will not be here tomorrow or the rest of the week.
Yes.
So it's a come back.
It's
for
a one-off.
Come back for one day and then leave for another week.
Yeah.
And then some, right? Because
so
Wednesday. You're in Columbus.
So for anybody that doesn't know, which first off, how dare you? Traveling with the Supernovas.
Mm-hmm.
Been on a nice little road trip, 2-0 on the road trip, and won their first game back on a nice 3-game winning streak. Another road trip coming up. We head to Columbus tomorrow to face the Fury and Asia O'Neal and familiar face Caitlin Horde. And then after that, we'll head down to Orlando, where they play a match on Sunday.
Okay.
Who they just played Orlando. Playing
the
them again.
Valkyries.
The Valkyries. Shout out to Jill Gill. And then we'll come back that Monday.
Okay.
We'll be here for about a day, maybe a day and a half, something like that. So I'll come back. I'll do the show.
Okay, you'll do the show on Monday.
Yeah. Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I believe we leave Wednesday.
Nice.
Where we go down to Atlanta to face the
Vibe.
The Atlanta Vibe, the only other team aside from Las Vegas to beat Omaha.
In the first game, first match of the year.
Yep, in 5 sets, who they just lost to Grand Rapids in 5.
I did see that.
Who Omaha beat in 4 up in Grand Rapids. And then we'll come back. And then we'll be home for a while.
Perfect.
Wait, that's a lie. After that, we're off for about a week. Then we go back down to Orlando.
A lot of traveling for Rico.
Then we'll come back, and then we're home for a while.
There you go. We'll see what happens. But Rico won't be around very often. But he's going to be here for today.
I know you all miss me.
402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. Now, I want to get right into this because, and I think Jay is somewhere around here. He's going to join us here in a couple of minutes. But Rico, Rick Pitino went off on St. John's last night. Rick Pitino, obviously the former head coach of Louisville, right? Former head coach of Louisville, went to Iona where he ended up having a pretty good stretch, right?
Made the NCAA tournament a couple of times.
At Iona. And obviously, hold on, let me pull up his record for everybody here. So this is his 36th year of coaching. He started coaching. Do you have any clue where Rick Pitino started his head coaching career back in 1975?
I feel like I should know this. Like, is this like I should know this, right?
It is not landlocked. It is surrounded by water.
Hawaii?
I
didn't know. I guess I shouldn't have known that.
Rick Pitino coached 6 games at Hawaii in 1975-76. And he went 2-4 in his 6 games as the head coach for Hawaii here.
Only 6 games?
Then he goes to Boston University.
Good old BU.
From 78 to 83.
What's their mascot? I want to say Terriers, but I feel like I'm wrong.
Hold on. It is the Terriers. Nice work, Rico. Nice work. Then goes to Providence, then Kentucky, and then his longest stretch was for Louisville from 2001 to 2017. Then he's out of the game for about 2.5, 3 years. 2020, he gets hired at Iona. He's at Iona for 3 years, takes the Iona Gales, I want to say.
Didn't he go to Italy?
The Iona Gales.
In that stretch where he wasn't coaching college, I'm pretty sure he was in Italy. Coaching a professional team.
It's not listed on here, but nonetheless, potentially. Iona Gales, he goes 64-22 with the Gales in 3 seasons.
He said he wasn't going to leave. I remember that.
He did.
People kept asking about taking other jobs. He goes, I'm not. This is where I'm going to retire. I'm retiring at Iona.
He took them to the NCAA tournament 2 out of the 3 years. Or excuse me, 3 out of the 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Took him to the NCAA tournament. He was also a 2-time, because obviously the first season was with COVID, 2-time conference tournament champion in the MAAC. Now he leaves Iona after last season, where he was regular season champion, conference tournament champion, and NCAA tournament appearance with Iona after going 27-8 with the Gales in 2022.
They were a popular upset pick.
They were.
I remember that.
They were. Now with St. John's, he is 14-12 in the Big East. Obviously, the Big East, one of the better basketball conferences, the best basketball conference in the country. But last night, St. John's played Seton Hall, and they were up 39-21 yesterday, up by 18 points. At one time, I think they were up by 19. But Seton Hall ends up coming back and winning on the road at St. John's 68-62. Seton Hall, who is 17-9 now in the overall under a first-year head coach, outscored St. John's 39-21 in the second half.
Woof.
So in this press conference, Rick Pitino went off on his roster, and we only unfortunately we don't have the whole entire press conference. But one thing to keep in mind while you're listening to all this is that don't forget who Rick Pitino hired as the men's basketball general manager
GM
for St. John's to oversee all NIL activities. Former Husker assistant Matt Abdelmassi is a member of St. John's coaching staff.
Isn't that his alma mater?
It is his alma mater.
There you go.
Because that's where Nebraska took him from.
Yeah,
they took Abdelmassi away from St. John's originally, came to Nebraska, now goes back to St. John's. Here is Rick Pitino. It's about 90 seconds long of Rick Pitino going off on his team. And we have more quotes than just this. After they lose after having an 18-point lead at one point. They lose by 6, 68-62 to Seton Hall at home last night. Here's what Rick Pitino had to say. The Adobe's not on.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
Say it one more time.
Here's what Rick Pitino had to say after their 6-point loss to Seton Hall.
We just lack toughness. We just don't move our feet on defense. Look, they shot 37 free throws. Throw out the stats. You see it every game, the amount of free throws they shoot and the amount of free throws we shoot. Look at what Naheem shot on the year. Look at what Chris Ledlam shot on the year. I mean, you're a power forward. You play 29 minutes without a free throw. That means you're not offensive rebounding, not getting to the line. So it's really all the toughness things of why we give up leads. We are so non-athletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling. And really it's not about losing. Because even in winning, when we watch the film, I see unathletic plays. I see people that don't handle a ball, that's just interested in taking quick shots. So it's been a disappointing year.
If you had to do it over again, would you have attacked your first offseason differently?
Had no choice. We just could take who we could get, who was available. We had no choice. I don't think we were going to win the first year anyway, because when you rush like that and you don't see the players and you just not a whole lot we can do. But it's I think I've enjoyed even the Celtics when we lost. I've enjoyed every minute being the Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
You have any second thoughts of taking this job?
No, not at all. It's not St. John's. It's my team. Look, I'm disappointed. I don't want to say the wrong things, but I'm really disappointed in my team.
He doesn't want to say the wrong things, but this is another quote that he had. Patino, go ahead.
I don't want to say the wrong things after everything he just said.
So he says, I don't want to say the wrong things. Later in the press conference, and unfortunately there's no audio of this. They must have scrubbed the entire thing from the internet.
They got rid of it.
Because you cannot find the live stream of the press conference.
St. John's found some money and we're like, get this off the internet.
Rick Pitino said this, quote, look, Joel is slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris Ledlam is slow laterally. Sean Conway is slow laterally. Brady is physically weak. Drissa is slow laterally as well. He said, after I spent the summer with them, I knew it was going to be a difficult year. I knew it. I'm hoping that we could finish over 500 for the season. He says, quote, it's not the job. You could be at Missouri and recruit slow players. Believe me, it's not St. John's. We had to put together a team at the last second. We will never, ever do that again. Do we have bleep facilities? Yeah, we do. But we're doing something about that. So
I don't know if you can say we for very much longer.
He then says, to be honest with you, I'm just getting ready for Georgetown because Georgetown can definitely beat us. So Rick Pitino, St. John's, by the way, 14-12 this season under Rick Pitino. They lose AJ Storr. AJ Storr, Husker fans will know him from Wisconsin. AJ Storr was at St. John's last year. That's a guy that Rick Pitino would have rather kept.
Slow laterally.
Then move on from last year. They also have quite a few seniors on this team. There's 5-6 seniors on this St. John's team for for Rick Pitino.
Physically weak.
You also have it to where, how about this? There are 4 guys that average double figures. There are 4 guys on this roster that average double figures for Rick Pitino. Joel Soriano, who we heard was slow laterally.
Mhm.
Denise Jenkins, who we heard that was slow laterally, averages 14.5 points per game. Chris Ledlum averages 10.4. He's slow laterally. Brady.
Is he the physically weak one?
Brady's just a freshman at 6'7".
He's physically weak.
He's 6'7".
He's a freshman.
He's 6'7", 190.
Physically weak.
That is insanely skinny.
I would say get in the weight room, but you have bleep facilities.
Yeah, you got bleep facilities, so we can't win. But okay, what I did want to make in correlation to this, and by the way, 464-5685. In correlation to this, does him saying, "Hey, we had to throw something together at the last second," not feel like what Nebraska experienced in year 1 of Fred Hoiberg? Now Fred Hoiberg and Nebraska, that 7-25 season, they went 2-18 in the Big Ten Conference. It's not that bad at St. John's.
I would say I'm sure Nebraska fans even throwing it together at the last
We'd
second
be happy with 14-12.
Yeah, 14-12 at this point in the season. We're like, dude, this is a decent season.
And I guarantee you that Fred would not have come out and been like, "Hey, that was the most unenjoyable experience in my life."
That quote is wild. I enjoyed every second of my time as the head coach of the Boston Celtics, except for the time we were losing. I mean, we lost a lot, but I enjoyed my time there. This has been the most unenjoyable
experience of my life.
If you're a player in the locker room, and that's what we need Jay to come in here for, like, how do you react to hearing your coach, A, say those things if you're one of those players, and B, say that this is the most unenjoyable time of his life?
Dude. It's
like, how do you? Georgetown's going to beat you because your players don't want to play for you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they do, but if I heard that, I would feel some type of way.
So, and this is like a good point here. So, not only the players in the locker room, but also like, what about guys you're recruiting? If you're, if you're getting recruited by Rick Pitino and St. John's here right now, and you hear him say this about multiple players, quote, "Look, Joel's slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris is slow laterally. Sean Conway's slow laterally. Brady is physically weak. Drisa is slow laterally." If you're a high school player thinking about, hey, you know what? Maybe I want to go play college basketball and I have multiple options and St. John's is one of them. I get that Rick Pitino has success, but we talk all the time in collegiate athletics about how relationships are now turning into being king over anything else.
Yes.
In collegiate athletics. You want to go play for that?
I actually don't think that does that much damage on the recruiting front than you think, because as a freshman who potentially would be going to St. John's, you hear that and maybe you think, okay, I'm not slow laterally. I have a chance of playing immediately as a freshman.
It's that thought of like Nebraska where it's like, I'm going to go put Nebraska back on the map.
But it is, you don't have to put St. John's on the map. They've been on the map. But except for this year when they're, have a winning record, but their coach is just annoyed with everything apparently. But aside from, he's calling out his players, and we just had somebody on the text line kind of say, I'd rather have a coach tell the truth than coach speak his way through a bad season. There is a point where you can tell the truth without throwing 5 of your players under the bus.
And then calling it the
most unenjoyable.
Hold on, can you play the start of that quote again? Because the best part is he just starts out hot with, "We are just not athletic or not tough."
The whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
We just lack toughness. We just don't move our feet on defense. Look, they shot 37 free throws. Throw out the stats. You see it every game, the amount of free throws they shoot and the amount of free throws we shoot.
But then it's like this ending part.
So there's a part in there where he's just like, we're just non-athletic.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Look at what Naheem shot on the year. Look at what Chris Ledlum shot on the year. I mean, you're a power forward. You play 29 minutes without a free throw. That means you're not offensive rebounding, not getting to the line. So it's really all the toughness things of why we give up leads. We are so non-athletic.
That's it.
That's rough right there. And then I believe it's like right here.
Since I've been coaching.
You have any second thoughts of taking this job?
No, not at all.
I missed it. It's like right here.
I've enjoyed every minute being a Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year. But this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
That's rough.
Since 1975.
That's rough. Out of all the seasons you've been coaching, this is the most unenjoyable experience he's
It's crazy.
ever had. That part is what would turn me off as a recruit. Like, you're just not having a good time right now. Like, I don't know how many, more players you can bring in to make this more enjoyable. Yeah, winning is enjoyable, but you're over 500. You're 2 games over 500. You've won more than you've lost this season, and you're still just a grumpy old man.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out. I don't think Rick Pitino, while being a head coach, he has had very few losing records here. He had the losing record in 6 games with Hawaii back in 75, so don't count that. He had a one losing record in 1980 where he at Boston University went 13-14. Then he went 14-14 in his first year at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, scrapping the vacated wins at Louisville, right? Scrapping those.
We don't count. He won those games. I don't care.
He has never had a losing season.
I mean, you still don't.
So since he was 589, in 1989 he was 500 at 14-14. So if you want to go back, he has not had an actual losing season since 1980-81 with Boston University when they went 13-14.
But this is the most unenjoyable.
I mean, that's incredible. That is just incredible. Let's get to break. We might get Jay Foreman's thoughts in here. We also want to dive into Husker athletics as plenty of stuff to discuss. Husker men's basketball, Husker women's basketball. I also want to get back to this thought of like 2019. What was it feeling? Because Nebraska had to throw a roster together on that part.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that, all that more coming up on the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small-town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at KoppelCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Blaine's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick, Rico, and now Jay Foreman joining us. What's up, Jay?
What's happening?
How's it going, man?
Going pretty good.
Good. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line. How about this? Newt put it on the text line, if my text line will load here. He says, I'd rather have the coach tell the truth, like you mentioned, Rico, than coach speak his way through a bad season. One thing I will say about Rick Pitino yesterday is I'm all for him holding guys accountable, just coaches in general. But there is no blame or, hey, this is my fault here. Now, at the end, he did say, this isn't a St. John's problem. This is my team. I get that.
It's too late.
But through you already went through 6 minutes of this guy's slow, this guy's physically weak, this guy's slow laterally. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we only had, we had a short amount of time to
get the roster.
Get the roster together. We got bleepy facilities. Said that multiple times.
Well, I mean, the facilities part, if true, is that's on the on administration and athletic department.
Say they're fixing it, or they're working on it.
He said that's changing.
Yeah, well, it should have never. You should never be at St. John's and be at that point. I think the isn't the guard for Wisconsin, didn't he?
AJ Storr.
So you had a potential 18 to 20 points score. He was
4 guys in double figures.
Yeah, last year.
This year.
Well, no, I'm just saying you had a legit
you
all
had a good
conference
roster.
player
Yeah.
that you ran off or didn't, because be honest with you. Let's think about this. If you're at St. John's, and of all the coaches that were in the coaches pool, who fits St. John's the best? Rick Pitino.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Pitino's put numerous guys in the NBA. Has won numerous national championships. Did really good. I think he was at Iona before, or wherever, that small college.
That's right.
And took them to the NCAA tournament. So he can coach. He has credibility. Until he had his personal mishap or whatever with Louisville, which obviously he came out on the right side of.
Mm-hmm.
He had Louisville as he won a national title with Louisville, I think. So it wasn't like the kid was like, all right, I got to leave. They got Jay Foreman coming in here to coach your basketball team. You got one of the best coaches, essentially coaches of all time coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So you ran him off. Now you have 4 guys, like Nick said, in double figures. It's going to be tough. The biggest indictment was, or the thing I think that was hard for me to listen to was, well, we weren't going to win in the first year anyways. Well, before you just lost 8 of 10, you were doing pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm.
You were competitive. Now, when you flip the roster totally like you do in basketball, we've seen it here, right? It's hard to kind of, you won't catch your momentum to maybe it's too late, right? You talk about when I'm just looking at Bryce McGowan's here. Bryce McGowan's, that last 6 games, they're like, you know what? They got it. They figured it out. It just takes time for the team to gel.
Too little, too late.
Now, Rick Pitino's probably been in how many press conferences do you think he's been in through his career?
Well, so we were talking about that. I mean, thousands, because he's been a head coach since 75. He's had 1 losing season, and it was back in 1980. He went 13 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
They're still 14 and 12. Back to the roster really quickly before you continue. So just to rattle off a couple of the players that he moved on from, right?
Right.
Or does they decide to leave? I think it's more so he moved on from them. David Jones, who's currently at Memphis, averaging 22 points per game. Posh Alexander, who's currently at Butler, averaging 11 points per game. Dylan Adewusu, who's at Seton Hall, averaging 7 points per game. AJ Storr, who's currently at Wisconsin, averaging 16 and a half.
And we saw him up close and personal.
That's 4 guys right there. Not to mention, you also moved on from an experienced point guard in Andre Curbelo that Husker fans will remember from his time at Illinois. He transferred from Illinois to St. John's, and then once Rick Pitino forced him out, he's now at he's somewhere small, Southern Miss.
Yep, I remember
Andre
him.
Curbelo. So that's 5 guys. That's
your starting 5.
That's a starting 5,
right?
That you moved on from, and then you come in and say, after I spent the summer with these guys, I knew it was going to be a difficult year. I'm hoping we could finish it over 500 for the season. This is a lot of you, man. This is a lot of you, because some of those guys that I rattled off.
Just say you kept 3 of them.
So here's the thing.
Right.
Not one single guy that you're talking about. There's 4 seniors that they would be seniors this year.
Oh, yeah.
Jones, Alexander, Adewusu, and Curbelo were all would all be seniors this year. AJ Storr would be a sophomore.
Right.
It's actually the experience with one of the best players in the country.
Right. And that's the best. If you ever want a transition roster as a coach coming in, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Because they're gone in a year or 9 months.
That was what was tough about, you bring up Nebraska, because I brought that comparison up when Fred got here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had to hurry up and get guys like Hanif Cheatham. They had to go out and get Matej Kavas from Seattle University. They had to go out and quickly bring in Cam Mack from Salt Lake City Community College. Like, they had to go out and get those guys, but they weren't senior laden like St. John's would have been. That year, Hanif was a senior, Matej Kavas was a senior, and then you had 6 freshmen on that roster for Nebraska.
Right. But the biggest difference is, and all I was saying in reference to our basketball program, is when you come in and you have a new roster, you might have good players. It just takes a while to gel.
Yeah.
And we saw it even last year with Sam Griesel and Derek Walker, when you have the point forward kind of in Derek Walker, and then you have the guy that can kind of control, I call it the pace setter, to where Sam Griesel, when they needed a bucket, he could go to the back down game. He's big, he make free throws. and Derek Walker passed extremely well with Casey. So you have like the 3-pronged attack, but until they got it going, you saw it in, we see it for a half. We see it for half of a half. Well, then you start to see it for 3/4 of a game. Then you start getting going. And so back to St. John's, that's totally different than even Fred's first class because these guys were here.
Yeah.
You don't have to recruit anybody. You just got you got to recruit them to stay.
But
they came here for a reason. Right.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
Yeah.
You got guys that have been productive there. And now granted, if some of these guys go play, I doubt Wisconsin has a super duper NIL packet. So there was no reason for these guys to leave.
Or you think basketball, you're thinking St. John's over Wisconsin. I mean,
Right.
not, with the rankings and everything as it is now, but when you just like history-wise, you think St. John's
And you think Rick
over
Pitino.
Wisconsin. You think Rick Pitino
Right.
over whoever, really, almost.
Right. And then you think about it. Okay, so say they had 5 starters there, before Rick Pitino got there. Okay, worst case scenario, keep 3. You're way ahead of a ton of teams in your conference.
Yeah.
In your league. So, I mean, Rick Pitino's just, I'm sure he's frustrated. And look, sometimes when you lose and you're losing the same way, it does get frustrating. And probably for him, and this is why I always talk about, I always say this about Urban Meyer. When you have revisionist history, you tend to always think back to a coach at their apex. Urban Meyer beating Oregon national champion. A lot of the years have passed after that. Then that Jacksonville, that's who you're getting if you hire him as a college coach. Rick Pitino has more recent history of winning, but I think Rick Pitino was used to coaching really, really good players at Louisville. That's what he's comparing it to. Power 5, right? Louisville.
I mean,
you just don't have Louisville players.
You look at some of the records here. So at Kentucky, right, which was his first really long gig. He was at Boston for 140 games, but at Kentucky, 219-50 was his record at Kentucky. Then he goes to Louisville, coaches in about 290 more games than he did his entire time at Kentucky. 416-143 at Louisville for Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
Insane record. Goes to Iona after a couple years off, or out of the college game at least, after all the legal stuff.
Right.
And ends up going 64-22 as the head coach of the Gales. Now 14-12 this year.
Right.
This even 14-12 feels like uncharted territory
for him right now. Yeah.
This is a guy that's been to, what was it? What did I read? 23 NCAA tournaments in his 36 years, 7 Final Fours and won 2 titles. He's won a total of 26 conference tournaments.
And he coached at Providence too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so Nick said he had one losing. He had 3 non-winning seasons because he had one 500, and then his first gig at Hawaii, he coached 6 games and was
6 games and
2
went
and 4.
2 and 4. So it doesn't even count.
So he had 3 non-winning seasons, really just 2 non-winning seasons.
Yeah.
Ever since
That's
1980,
1975.
Yeah, I mean, his coaching resume is second, and he's a Hall of Fame coach and all that.
That's what's so crazy for those guys that left, right? Because you made it more difficult, like you were saying, Jay, on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you walked in there, everybody knew what you were about, and that winning is
clearly
your forte.
Well, the bigger problem is clearly you're recruiting these kids that you have on the roster now without even the thought that you're going to keep them past this year.
Yeah.
So then
you just sold yourself too.
Well, then
you're done.
Well, So who's going to want to stay there? Then I would question Rick Pitino this. Why would you even make that stupid decision?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you recruit Nick and Rico already knowing your skill set, right? Because did you not? I mean, you watched tape, you watched them in person, you had people scout them, you saw them all summer, and then you had to have seen the guys before because you watched the tape prior, and you looked at the stats. So why would you do something so stupid to flip the whole roster, let your starting 5 go, and then complain about the roster that you have?
Yeah.
It makes no logical sense.
And now, because of comments that he made last night, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, you're gonna have to flip your whole roster again.
Majority of it.
Because number one, are you going to want to keep the guys that you were just bad mouthing and talking about how they're slow laterally
now,
or do they want to stick around for you?
No, a little bit different. You remember when Brett Bielema had when he was at Illinois?
Called out his offense.
Called us out the whole
Yep.
offensive line.
Mhm.
Said he pretty much said they're garbage and they, recruiting is bad. And what I have here, I have to do it all over. Privately, it was a different conversation. Then they go out there and they win that 18 overtime game at Penn State.
Yeah.
Kind of a benchmark win for him, foundation win for him, won the locker room over, and then now they're probably at or higher, or exceeded some expectations already for his tenure. I'm hoping Rick Pitino, in whatever way he's in his mind, is trying to use that as motivation for these players.
Just creating bulletin board material for his own players.
Trying to, look, I've been there before. I remember, in personal experience, I remember we were about to play Florida, and I was starting, and then Coach Osborne, the whole thing. You remember, what's the dude that the quarterback from Ohio State saying that every position was open? So we went into the bowl game, and they were like, everybody's position was open. Well, primarily, knew they were I was the new starter on the defense, right? And I started however many games. And, Coach Osborne was like, oh, well, between me and Jamel Williams, and they were like, pretty much, saying that Jamel was faster than I was. And you just never know.
Mhm.
I didn't like hearing it. I knew it wasn't true. But best believe I was motivated by it. The rest is history. I ended up being fine. Now, it wasn't to that extent, though. It wasn't like, hey, Jay can't walk and chew gum. He can't move.
You didn't say you're physically
weak. Ain't aggressive.
Well, he's the guy that he said is physically weak is a freshman who's 6'9", 190.
He's 6'7", 190. He's a true freshman.
He's skinny. He's just got there.
Looks like a freshman.
But maybe if
At me as a freshman, that's what I look like.
Maybe if you didn't have crappy facilities, you'd be able to put some weight on him.
Or you just haven't matured yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like that as a freshman. I didn't look like much, but I had to get in the weight room.
Yeah, you were physically weak. It's fine.
That's fine. I was still tearing your head off, though. All little physically weak stuff. I was trying to do something myself. I think I'm hoping that was a motivation tactic. I don't know if it's going to work. It's probably suspect at best whether it does work, but it is funny though. He's like, man, this is the worst. This is the least enjoyable season I ever did.
Hold on.
So go ahead. He's got it.
I have that one. I love that one.
I've enjoyed every minute being the Boston Celtic coach. Didn't like the fact that we lost in that following year, but this has been the most unenjoyable experience I've had since I've been coaching.
There it is. Just like that. We're just so non-athletic.
Nick loves that one. See if I can find.
See if Rico can do it quickly here.
So why we give up leads? We are so non-athletic.
I love it.
But it's so casual though.
Yeah.
He's
He starts it off with we are just so not tough, or it's like we just lack toughness. And he just starts it right off the bat.
You're a power forward. You don't have any free throw.
Yeah, he's like, you're about power forward playing 27 minutes a game. You don't have a free throw. Hey, Nebraska just had that a couple of games ago, but Josiah Alec bounced back, had a really nice game at home after that. St. John's, they have Georgetown on the road on Wednesday.
That's a dub.
4.
What?
They'll beat Georgetown. I love the Hoyas, but they're garbage right now.
They are, but apparently so is St. John's.
Georgetown's 1-13 in the conference.
Dub.
St. John's, by the way, they were up by, 19 or 18 points against Seton Hall last night.
And took the
And
L.
lost at home.
That would drive you to say some things that you necessarily don't mean.
Well, I love how he ends it with, I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say.
Yeah, you already said
you went off and you continue to say stuff. So St. John's, this is their remaining 5 games. At Georgetown, hosting Creighton.
L.
At Butler.
L.
At DePaul.
Win.
That's a win. Georgetown at home.
Win.
17-14.
There you go.
All right. 3 games above 500.
I need that check for new facility.
Just like that. Simple as that. All right, let's get to break. Thanks, Jay.
All right, man.
There he is. We'll be back on the happy
Download
hour.
our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Chad with the Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
February is National Pet Dental Health Month. At Parkview Animal Hospital, their skilled doctors and staff can help identify and treat a wide range of dental issues. If your pet is showing signs of bad breath, abnormal chewing or drooling, reduced appetite, or refusal to eat, now is a great time to speak to a member of their team and help get your pet back on track to a healthy lifestyle. Call Parkview Animal Hospital today at 402-423-6939 to learn more about their discounts on dental cleanings, procedures, and hygiene products.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Herbie the Fourth ate his first solid food today, prompting a response of nothing but steaks all week for the Nebraska offensive line.
Then Enrique Alvarez Clary.
No more peaches and carrots for Herbie the Seventh. Baby food be damned.
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We'll go back into the happy hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We are back here. Nick, Rico, Jay Foreman's out, and we bring in Austin in. What's up?
How we doing, guys?
Dandy. Did I take your headphones?
It's okay. I can wing it. It's fine.
Are you sure?
I can hear you guys. All I need is you guys.
We
don't
can
call
both wing it. How about that?
Okay, Rico, make 3 for 3.
No, Rico needs them.
Actually, I've been wearing headphones for like a week.
Oh wow! Look at us! Look at us! Okay, so anyway, let's talk Husker baseball here because
I guess I'll put the headphones back on.
yeah, let's talk Husker baseball because it was they go 1-2 this weekend, right? Now they beat Baylor on Friday. Nebraska baseball does. They fall to number 21 Texas Tech on Saturday, and then on Sunday get walked off by allowing 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth. Big reason why potentially was a misplay in the outfield by Garrett Anglem, allowed the first runner to score and tie the game at 6. Austin, I was having a conversation actually earlier regarding. I'm not. This is not us trying to spin it in a positive way, but a 1-2 start is not as bad as it may seem on the surface.
I don't even think it's spin to say it was a positive weekend. So Kendall Rogers, who's the editor, like really big shot at D1 baseball, right? He's a big deal in the baseball world. Was watching those games. You have Tennessee and Oregon down there. You have a ranked Texas Tech team down there. He said he came away encouraged about Nebraska from the weekend, right? A lot of interesting pieces on that team. And Kendall doesn't miss, right? There's a reason Kendall's so well respected in the world of college baseball. If he comes away impressed, who am I to say that no, Nebraska sucked? 1-2 is not the result you wanted, especially having leads in all those games.
Yeah,
that's the part that stings, that you had an opportunity to make that record look better, but you weren't picked to win those games going in, right? Oklahoma's a regional type of team. Baylor's the game you probably should have won given their down year last year, but you had number 21 Tech on the ropes. You had him. It slipped. And I go back to our conversations we've had even with like Evan Bland. The bullpen seems like the strength of the team. Not a great opening weekend, but if it's the strength of your team that let you down, you feel pretty good about that not happening again moving forward.
Well, I also say, I mean, going back to that game against Baylor, right? That was what was so impressive. 9 strikeouts as a staff, as a pitching staff, 9 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0 free passes. That kind of changed a little bit once you got to Oklahoma on Sunday, right? The starting pitching was not as sound. It got you out of a couple of sticky situations. You were gifted those first 2 runs on some bad throws by the Sooners. But like we said it on Friday, and I think a lot of last week, Austin, Nebraska's going to find themselves in a lot of these 1-2 run ball games down the road, right? Whether it's against Grand Canyon this week, they go into Oklahoma, or they go into the 9th inning against Oklahoma, and they're up 6-5, right? Those are the ones where you have to really buckle down and be fundamentally sound defensively, whether you pitch to contact or not. Find the strike zone because the margin for error is so slim.
Does that go into Nebraska still trying to find who they're going to have close games? Like, I don't know if they know exactly.
I think
who
it's
going
Casey
to be.
Dice. I think that's kind of, we saw it twice this weekend, and I once again, I don't fully put it as a blown save against Oklahoma on him.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, Casey Dice goes into the year being named the closer, but I don't think there are many jobs that are locked up, right? Especially for a team that's searching to get back to regional play. Very few guys have a spot locked down saying, this is mine because I've been there, done that before. Even like Dylan Carey, right? Played well at third base last year. He's moved over to the shortstop. He's not set in stone. Josh Kieran, you see the talent, the potential. He's not necessarily set behind the dish. Riley Silva in center field. He has the speed.
Yeah.
You know,
even Gabe Swanson struggled at the plate this weekend.
Was there anybody who you guys saw? I unfortunately didn't watch the games, but is there anybody that you guys saw in those 3 games that maybe not locked, but you feel really good about the position that they're in?
I think it's Caden Brumbaugh.
Brumbaugh with his high major experience was good. I was actually decently impressed with Overbeek at third.
I was as well. I thought Joshua Overbeek played a really strong third base. So there you have it. Dylan Carey had a nice weekend at the plate, right? Overbeek kind of took that crown with a base hit RBI, a couple RBIs in that game against Oklahoma. But I thought Brumbaugh was really solid at the top of the lineup, right? We've seen in just the last couple of years how important that is in general. Whether it was like Jackson Hallmark or whether it was Bryce or whether now it's Brumbaugh, to have a stable bat at the top of the lineup is going to be crucial for Nebraska because this is just going to be a much more balanced lineup. I think it's not going to be one that that hits the ball around the park, but they're gonna certainly be able to get their fair share of base hits.
To that point, I remember my dad sent me this tweet at the time against Texas Tech. Gabe Swanson laying down a sacrifice bunt against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that that's the identity that Nebraska wants to lean into, right? Gritty, not pretty, play small ball. But I think that's a button that has to be pressed somewhat selectively too. Just because Nebraska doesn't have 97 home runs in the lineup this year doesn't mean you take the bat out of your best hitter's hands. Because first and second with no outs is more valuable than second and third with one out. Because why? A strikeout and a flyout. I get it. A productive out scores a run, but at the same time, you're limiting your ceiling. So yes, there are times where you need to play for one run and trust the bullpen. I don't like taking the bat out of Gabe Swanson's hands.
I'm going to push back a little bit simply because you're telling you need a guy to just do his job. You're not asking for a base hit here. You're asking,
but why not?
For,
why do you artificially limit the ceiling of your offense?
Well, you can say that about every single situation, though.
Right, except I'm saying you have.
This was in the
sixth inning.
I understand that. So when would you sacrifice, though?
When one run wins the game. One run doesn't win you the game in the sixth inning. One run wins you the game in the ninth inning.
It allows you to be in a position, though.
It gives you a lead in the sixth inning against the number 21 team, which is okay.
So
but I'd rather have
it as a bullpen and do your job.
I'd rather have a 2 or 3 run lead as a bullpen than a 1 run lead. I see the time and the place for it. I'm just
that's tough.
When you're trying to pull a big upset, you have to manage it perfectly. I can see the rationale for it, but in those games, right, especially that situation, that's a little too early for my liking. That's all I'm saying.
I suppose. I don't know. I'm used to this idea also where it was kind of interesting that happened because Coach Harvell talked to us about it, right? Where I'm also in this thought of like, I get that last year on this year's team, Gabe was probably your best hitter, right? However, he had struggled up to that point hitting the ball. I also looked at it as lack of, you're not being selfish.
Selflessness.
Yeah, selflessness.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it, is that at no point, doesn't matter if you have 15 home runs or 3, or if you have 67 RBIs, it doesn't matter. Your one at bat is going to be, we're going to use it for the betterment of the team.
You got to remember where you went to high school.
Here's the thing. I did the same thing. I come from the exact same stuff.
I'm trying to take that out of it. I think there's a lot to be said though, for it's early in the season,
which is why you play for the big inning. If it's late in the season and you're looking, you just need wins, fine. But early in the season, you have a chance to send a message. Does Gabe Swanson break out of his slump with the sack bunt?
Well, I think at that time, maybe we didn't know he was fully in a slump.
It's also game 2 of the season.
It is.
Yeah.
These are the type of games that you need later in the season. A win in this game goes much farther later in the season than a loss would hurt you later in the season.
I think you learn that gives you that call, that decision gives you a chance to learn a lot about your guys.
It does.
Right. I think that could be an angle to this, to where it's, okay, bullpen, we need you guys to shove for 3 innings.
And part of it,
show us who's going to carve out a role. I think that's why I'm not against the decision. I can see it, right? And we wouldn't be having this conversation if it was Angelo Altavilla or if whoever was up there, right? I get that. I just think it gives you a chance as a coaching staff early in the year to say, okay, who's going to step up? Number one, can we trust on Gabe to do his job, whether it's to get a base hit or to lay down a bunt? Can we trust our back end of the bullpen to pick up, who was it, Will Walsh that day? Can we trust them to pick up Walsh when it matters most against top end talent? We always talk about how the expectation that they should be handled to. Guess what? What do regional host teams do better than anybody else?
Pick their guys up,
do their jobs, win one-run ball games. If you want to be at that standard, you have to show that you can win and perform in the most clutch and intense situations. That was the first test, I think, and Nebraska, unfortunately, didn't pass it.
And I mean, it's one of those things where, maybe you've seen him do it in practice and maybe in those scrimmages, but in a live situation, you actually see him and he's able to lay down a good bunt that can get your guys over. and not, bunt it up into the air or bunt it foul, whatever. And also, like you guys were saying, the bullpen is supposed to be the strength of this team. So as Nick was saying, you're seeing who can step up, who can help, raise your starting pitchers, who can help, back up your hitters right now and, carve out a spot for themselves.
On a granular level, that specific situation, I don't want to beat that situation into the ground, right? I just think it was illustrative, right? It comes to mind.
And it's a big one because Nebraska ends up losing
the game.
Yeah,
right.
If you get one or both of those runners in,
we're probably having a different story, and that's the thing. We're part of my judgment is that it didn't work, right?
And exactly.
But, and I want to be fair in that.
If they would have moved him over, and it would be second and third with one, they get a base hit,
which happened.
Two.
He got him over to second and third. He just had a strikeout and a flyout,
exactly.
right? So then it's on the next guy.
If they win two, if they score two, then we're sitting there saying, "Hey, that situation worked. It worked perfect."
You're looking right at the button. You're like, "That was a fantastic."
So to that point, I think it falls on the following two hitters. To say you got to do something. Get a ground ball to the right side. Get a fly ball, just a routine fly ball out to the outfield.
But the fact that it didn't work, I think, illustrates my bigger point. Right, is that you played to try to guarantee that you would score a run that inning. Right, you didn't. It didn't work out. That's unfortunate. Whereas my bigger point is, who knows if you have another out, what happens?
Yeah.
Right. Essentially, you gave the out away. So I get it. And I don't at the same time.
Yeah,
so it mostly, again, overarching point is it sucks that Nebraska didn't win because they were right there and they had every chance to.
Yeah, I think there's still reason and cause for encouragement of this season, right? Because we were shown multiple situations over the weekend of how they are going to embrace this tougher mindset, maybe than what they had last year, which, as everybody knows, Husker fans are a fan of. And so it's easy stuff to get behind. Nebraska 4-game set coming up against Grand Canyon University down in Phoenix, Arizona. That's the place for that one. All right, Austin, what's coming up on the show today?
It's going to be a good one. Good weekend of Husker basketball. Women get a win. Men get a good second half performance, right? They survived the first half. Stricky and I will talk about that. We'll get into NBA All-Star Weekend, just how much Strick loved it.
Yeah.
He was on fire about it. Stricky loved NBA All-Star Weekend.
I'm sure he did.
Strick, gunslinger. He loves all the three-point shots and the lack of effort.
All of the points.
All of them. Almost 400 of them. So we'll talk about that. And then some top NFL free agents. A couple interesting position groups that we'll get to.
All right. All that and more coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. Don't go anywhere. Thanks to Jay for hanging out for a segment. Thanks to Austin. Don't go anywhere on the block. Strick and Austin coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.